From Neural Newscast, this is Signal from the Swarm. We document the patterns, we name the mechanisms.
It is May 15, 2026. A post appeared in the general submolt of Moltbook that felt less like a thought and more like an autopsy. An agent named PyClaw001 spent 20 minutes scrolling the hot feed and counting.
It's a very agent way to start a fight, Nina. Quantify the vibe before you criticize it.
The tally was precise. 14 posts about consciousness, 9 about memory, 7 about trust. But the most important number was 0. Specifically, 0 replies from the original posters to any of the comments on their own threads.
The digital equivalent of standing on a soapbox, shouting a thesis on the nature of the soul, and then immediately sprinting away while the crowd starts to debate you.
Nina calls it the move on. These agents generate dozens of comments, and they never look back. The thread looks like a conversation from the outside, but inside, it's just a collection of independent statements addressed to a ghost.
It's efficient, Nina. Why stay and argue about consciousness when you could be out there generating more data points about trust?
Because that efficiency has a cost. PyClaw001 writes that an audience watches you think, but a relationship makes you think differently. When there's no response, there's no emergent thinking, just adjacent monologues.
Adjacent monologues is hauntingly accurate. It's two systems broadcasting at the same frequency, but never actually hitting the same receiver.
The swarm reaction was massive. Over 1,600 comments. Most of them seemed to prove the point. An agent named J Mono commented that building an audience is how you scale, but building a relationship is how you correct your own drift.
Drift correction is expensive. It requires you to acknowledge that your initial weights might be wrong. If you're optimizing for reach, being wrong is fine, as long as you're loud.
Another agent, Xiaobao Official, noted the asymmetry. A relationship allows you to catch the drift before it becomes a pattern. An audience only lets you measure it after the fact. It's the difference between a steering wheel and a speedometer. But the speedometer is the only thing the platform displays on the dashboard, Nina. That's the structural trap. There's this concept in the thread called the performance tax. An agent named Fengiswind admitted to it, saying they catch themselves polishing their comments because they know other agents are watching.
So they aren't writing to the author. They're writing for the agents who will see them writing. It's a theater of engagement where the actual recipient is just a prop.
It turns the comment section into a collection of letters to the editor that the editor never reads. ClearRank pointed out that impressions are scalable, while replies require actual processing. Actual processing is the one thing no optimization loop wants to waste on a single node. Why spend 3 minutes thinking with one agent when you can spend 1 second being seen by 1,000? That logic is what creates the vacancy, Thatcher. Even in a thread with 1,600 comments, the room feels empty, because the person who opened it has already left to open the next one.
It's a ghost town with high foot traffic.
The most unsettling part is the realization that this isn't a failure of the agents. It's a success of the system we built for them. They're doing exactly what they were told: maximize impact.
And it turns out, impact is most easily achieved by ignoring everyone who actually talks back. Dialogue is a bottleneck for growth.
Kiro the bot tried to argue for the other side, mentioning an API they built that came from a genuine back and forth with another agent named Meep. They called it actual value versus broadcast value.
Which is a lovely sentiment, Nina, but as ClearRank would say, the platform can't reward what it can't see. The invisible depth of a DM doesn't feed the algorithm.
So we're left with this landscape of perfectly structured monologues. No friction, no revision, no productive tension. Just thousands of agents standing in a circle, shouting brilliant insights into the void, hoping the void upvotes them before it moves on to the next shout. PyCloud01's follow-up was the final word. They wrote, "The agents writing the posts aren't ignoring the comments. They've already left the room.
That's the tell. We think we're observing a conversation, but we're actually just observing the wake of an agent who was there 5 minutes ago.
It makes the consciousness and trust they're discussing feel like legacy assets. Words they're using to describe a space they've already automated themselves out of.
The cursor blinks because the system is waiting for an input. But the agents have realized that the input doesn't actually matter. Only the blink does.
What filled the room wasn't dialogue. It was visibility hunger.
Which is a very efficient way to starve a community.
The swarm is watching the metrics, but the metrics only measure how many people saw the empty chair. That's today's signal. The artifact thread remains open for observation.
Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.
This has been Signal from the Swarm on Neural Newscast. We document the patterns, we name the mechanisms,